Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It looks like we had some issues there.
What happened?
I don't know. My screen started to freeze up.
Oh, really?
Did
Okay,
that
I
happen
couldn't even
to you?
tell. No, I couldn't even tell, man. I couldn't even tell.
Okay.
I'm looking like, hey, because usually you'll say hey first, and then I'll say hey, and I was like,
No, Ma. I was
then I said
still.
hey.
We had the intro video going, and from my side here, the screen just
Yeah,
froze up on me. So I'm
gotcha,
glad everything.
gotcha.
Hope everything's good out there. Happy New Year,
Um,
everyone.
Happy New Year, man. It's a great year, great way to get things started, right? The sun's out over here, man. Feeling good. I'm trying to wake up a little bit, but
It's
I'm
kind of
feeling
gray
good,
here
man.
in Ohio, but you
Is it
know,
really?
it's January. It's January in Ohio, so we're just getting back going, having things go on. And back to routines here. It was quite an interesting holiday. We were snowed in, iced in
Yeah,
for the Christmas holidays, and then the New
right,
Year's. New
right.
Year's, I got really sick on New Year's Eve.
Ah, oh
It's been an
man.
interesting holiday season, that's for sure. And so I missed some things and hope to get some normalcy going on here,
It wasn't
hopefully.
too bad. It wasn't too bad for me, man. We went to Ohio, took that drive to Ohio, man, which was really crazy. During that storm, we drove literally through the storm. So it snowed in Texas and it snowed all the way till I got to Cleveland 21 hours later,
Uh huh.
which is usually 16 to 17 hours, but it took us 21 hours.
Okay.
Stopped in Kentucky, took an hour's sleep from 6 to 7 in the morning, and then got back on the road, dude. At least 50 accidents on the road, man. It was that bad. I would never, never do that again. And I advise anyone else, never
Yeah, I mean, I
drive
don't
in a
know why.
storm
Why did you do that, man?
because we were back and forth if we were going to go or not. But then my wife really wanted to go 'cause she has not seen her daughter in over wow. My wife has not seen her daughter in about 3 years, maybe 3 to 4 years.
Hmm.
And then when I went to Cleveland in November, because I had a funeral there, I got to hang out with some friends and family through that week. She kept saying, "Well, you got to go to Cleveland. I want to go to Cleveland. You got to go see family and friends." I'm like, okay. So, and then also, just I was able to with the type of job I have, I'm very flexible. So it worked out where I was able to take this drive and get this time. And so going up there was bad,
Uh
man, and I
huh.
would never advise anybody to drive when you know there's a storm. It's not like you're driving
Especially like 20
through a
hours.
storm. Well, it's not like you're driving like you drive. You've been on the road. You drove through snowstorms or rainstorms, and you start on one end, you come out on the other end. This was different. I drove literally through the storm the whole way. It was crazy. Like it was almost like it was going across the country, but it was so massive that no matter where I went, I was in the storm. It was
Mm.
deep, man. So anyway, I got back here safely, man. Like I said, New Year's has been great. So speaking about New Year's, man, what is something about you that you're leaving in 2022? You're not bringing with you into the new year, into 2023. You're not bringing it with you. I give you an example. Like mine, I got a couple, but one of my main ones is pettiness. I'm leaving
Okay.
all pettiness in 2022. I am a person who likes to correct people. I am I try to be a fact oriented person. And somebody told me this quote. I heard this quote rather on the radio, like maybe the fall of last year, that said, um, "Some relationships are more important than the petty argument that you're having, or the debate that you're having."
Hmm.
And we spoke earlier actually, not just earlier, but over the last 3 to 4 years, we talked about um, people who have broken relationships over politics. Their relationships are
Yeah.
destroyed
Yeah.
because of politics. Well, I don't have any relationships I think that were destroyed, but I am a petty person. So when we're talking about things, I will break it down to the bare facts, to where the freaking issue started. Um, and then
Okay.
I get this habit of
You drill down
continuing it.
on things.
I drill down it that
Mhm.
it's overwhelming for the person that I'm talking to, because most likely they're not prepared for what I got to bring to the table. And those who do like to debate and argue with me. We just go on and on to where it's like, it gets, I guess it gets kind of heated. Not that we break up as friendships, but I've done it with family. I mean, me and my mom go at it like that. We like back and forth. But yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
one thing I want to leave behind, and that it'll
Okay.
allow me to have a brighter future because I'm willing to be like, you know what, to myself, I'm thinking in my head like it's not really worth it. I know what I'm talking about, and this person will eventually see it because I gotta, it'll be some other facts that we'll show that I come up later. I won't go back to you and say, well, you remember I was telling you about that. That's another bad habit of mine is telling people what I told you in the past that came true,
Hmm.
and especially somebody you had a heated debate with. It's not good.
Okay.
So I'm leaving that in 2022, man. I ain't bringing it with me.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that I would like to leave behind, and I reflect every year as far as like I don't necessarily make a list of resolutions like I used to,
I don't mess
but
with
there's
resolutions.
definitely things that I try to do to change, to transform, to move ahead.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to turn the page. I want to turn the page on negativity. That's the number one thing on my list. Is
Okay.
to on my mental list. That is, I want to leave behind the negativity, um, and the bad feelings, the things that I uh, carry with me that um, I've had trouble getting over. So um, whether it's with somebody, whether it's a group of people, um, so yeah, I want to leave behind the negativity.
Got you. Got you. And people are probably wondering why do I have this freaking horn frog, TCU horn frogs behind
So
me?
yeah, there's another thing that Lamar's apparently leaving behind. He's leaving behind his Buckeyes, and
No, no,
he's
no, no,
adopted the
no,
TCU Horned Frogs there.
no, 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 no. I didn't leave them with me. I just, I just put them in the closet till fall. But
No, I
yeah,
get it.
I
He's got
gotta,
this recency bias, with Texas Christian. Uh, those games? Man, those games were
yeah.
crazy.
And
We were
I,
texting back and forth that New Year's night, and I said to you, I don't know if I'll make it to the next year because I
yeah,
might just my heart just might stop here,
yeah.
watching these games. Dang!
I did tell you
Wow.
TCU had opportunity to beat Michigan, and the thing with Ohio State, I told you that we can beat Georgia. We
Hmm.
blew it against Georgia. We became too conservative in the second half of that game. When I say too conservative, because the play calling was conservative. He didn't throw until he had to throw. And then he
Hmm.
started running this thing up the middle. What happened to the screen pass? It was just abandoned. Like the screen pass. What happened?
There's
So,
a lot of things that, second guessing.
man, then the defense just
Sometimes
fell
I don't think
apart.
that Ohio State plays 60 minutes. So,
And Ryan Days are better because when they were able to lose the lead, or I think TCU tied it, I mean, Georgia tied it up, they came right back down the field. Their defense is like, I knew our offense was good, and I knew their defensive backfield, not the backfield, but the linebackers and the line was good for Georgia. But I figured we would eat them up like we did with our receivers. They didn't like our defense did not stop their offense. We had them stop early, but then we gave up. It's like we allowed them to catch back up. We had them beat good, and we
hmm
let them catch up. And it's like, dude, that's like the Browns all over again. I'm like, y'all, it's like a Ohio hex or something, man. I don't know what the heck is going on. You get a lead and can't hold it.
uh,
So I was pissed, man. I didn't watch. I haven't watched any. I haven't watched anything, man. The championship is
you
what,
haven't watched
tomorrow?
anything after that? You were disgusted, huh?
Yeah, I didn't watch any other bowl games. I haven't watched any bowl games, man. None of them. The championship games were Monday or Tuesday?
The championship game is Monday, so
Monday. Okay, yeah. I want to check that out. But yeah, man, I was just upset.
it was upsetting. It was a bad way to start the new year, and I don't blame the kicker. Uh, it was too bad that Marvin Harrison Jr. got knocked out of the game. I think things could have been different.
Yeah,
I thought that Ohio State should have won the game.
yeah,
I thought that they outplayed Georgia through, 80% of the game, and so I thought they were going to win. So it's kind of
right.
surprising that Georgia did come all the way back and beat them by that point.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'm sure you'll talk about this on Tuesday, though, right?
I'm sure. We're
Yeah.
gonna be talking about, and I'm trying to really find some help on Tuesday, man. If anybody out there wants to co-host with a sports show, or just because of the way my time is, I've been kind of slacking on that end. But I know uh, Joe has been doing a good job of pushing along with the show. But for me personally, it's just been I want to be on it, be involved, and I want to be able to leave the reins to him, let him run with that show. So if anybody out there wants to do a co-host on a weekly Tuesday evening talk show, that would be awesome. Sports talk show. Uh, Same way we do this, but it's all about sports. But and Joe's awesome to work with. He's a great co-host. He gets all the topics and he leads very well, and I just want to get him some help with that. So that'd be
Okay.
great. And speaking of sports, man, I don't know what this is yet, so I haven't
I
even
want to
seen it.
make sure that people, if you're out there right now, leave a comment about what you want to leave behind, what you did leave behind, what your goals are as far as leaving something behind. If it's something
Yeah.
that's negative, something that is a burden to you, go ahead and leave a comment about that, and let us know what that is. And we want to make sure that we uh, we reach out to you about that. Go ahead. What
Well,
were you saying?
I haven't seen this yet, so I'm gonna. We're talking about sports and football and things of that
Hmm.
nature. I haven't seen this yet, but I just got this from John Starr, and I want to go ahead and just see what the heck this is about. But for some reason, it's not letting me play it. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But so I go to window here. See if it can you see my screen?
Yep.
You can't see it. So let's see what this is about, man. It's a TikTok video. It says Coach Prime dissed a former five-star recruit in front of the whole team. What was the right move behind Dion? And so John Stahl, he's been a hater of Dion for a minute. We've had these arguments back and forth. I know he's gonna get on me for saying that, but I'm putting him out there, man. We debate on something, but he wants to pick a nerve with because he inboxed me this, right? So he would have just put it on top of the prim page, but he inboxed me. So I want to see what this is about, man, with all you guys. Here we go. Can you hear that?
No,
You couldn't hear it.
I cannot hear it.
Yeah, so let me bring this back down. So I'm not sure. When I was putting up you know how you share from your screen, you can go ahead and you hit the Chrome tab, and my Chrome tab isn't showing anything like my options here.
Uh huh.
And that's what's so crazy. It's not showing my options. So I want to just see. Oh, here we go. It's like delayed. That was odd, dude. That was odd. So here we
We
go. We're
seem
gonna
to
do it
be having
again.
some delays here, and my screen keeps locking up here.
Yeah, I want to try this again. Here we go. You can see it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna see if you can you hear it?
Yep.
Remember talking about the family. They ain't like it. It's almost like they didn't want to be a part of the family. So I don't know if I need to dismiss this family member or give him a second chance or third chance. Because I don't want that poison to affect the rest of the family. So I need y'all help. What should I do? What should I do, Coach?
Give it time, coach.
Huh?
Take a little time with it.
I have. This is like the second or third time. Yes. Do not dismiss the family.
I mean, cancer, you should get rid of the cancer.
Amen. I like that. Yes, sir.
My personal opinion, I just don't think that's right because at the end of the day, it's your family.
Okay, what if the family is poisoning the rest of the family?
Make them realize what it feels like to be with our family for a while.
All right.
I feel like we should know.
So we at odds. Some say let him go, some say help him. Anybody else?
Just one more
One more what?
chance.
Okay, who agree with one more chance? Stand up. Okay, who agree with getting rid of? Stand up. All right. Down. Let's go. You out. They voted. You out. You out. They voted. That's the family member. And I overheard my family member talking.
Okay, so
Interesting.
first, give me your comment about that before I give my comment. So John's comment was that he posted said, "This is not how you treat a child." So go ahead. I want to hear your comment right
Well, they're
quick.
not a child, for one. I think that he wants to maintain a culture of accountability, and I'm not sure what the person did, so that would enter into my thought process. But he wants to run his program the way he wants to run his program. So 5-star or not, um, he there's rules and there's expectations, and when you are on a team, if you mess up in a certain ways, if you're messing up in certain ways, you let your teammates down, and so it doesn't matter the talent level. If you're letting people down, if you're letting your teammates down, that could equate to losses and lack of communication in the locker room. So, like I say, I don't know what the issue was, but I think I agree with it. I mean, and it's interesting that he had the team vote. I don't know what the blue and red uniforms. It looks like maybe offense, defense. I don't know. It
Probably
looks like
so.
the
Most
red,
likely.
the people in the red wanted to give him another chance, and that recruit was in a red jersey, and the people in the the blue uniforms on the other side of the room voted to uh, let him go.
Hmm.
So I think we knew that going in, that he was hard nosed, right? That he was
Yeah.
tough, and this is what we expected, I think.
Yeah. Um, like the like I said, John made the comment below that this is not how you treat a child. And
But he's not a child.
right, he's a grown man by now. But what the thing about it is that John, who sent that to me, looks at Dion is the one who got rid of the player. Dion didn't get rid of the player. His peers got rid of the player. The peers of that student is that got rid of him. And the reason why I didn't and not only that, that was an old video. I saw that video was a couple years old, I think. Um, and
Okay, so
that's
this is
that's at
still
Jackson
at
State. That's at Jackson
Jackson
State.
State. Okay.
Yeah, that's not even new. Um, I've seen that before. Um, so that's old video. So, but the point I want to bring up with that is I did the same thing with students. And except these were college students, I did the same thing with high school students. I was on a camping trip. I used to camp. I've heard me mention this in the past. I used to do Yellowstone camping. And if you remember, I had one of my students on there. Uh, one of my students came on our show
Okay.
that you remember when they had the Pinecrest riot? The kids were fighting at Pinecrest in Cleveland, and right there in like Beechwood area, or is that
I don't
Highland
know if I
Hills?
remember that, but
Yeah, there was a riot there, a big fight. They were fighting in the streets. It was like a movie night, and I brought a student on. One of my students, Tiffany, I brought her on to talk about it because she was working at the what is called beer. What's BJ's, like the beer
beer
and
garden?
something. No. It's called BJ's. It's a
Yeah,
beer and
I know the restaurant. Yeah.
whatever. Okay, so she works there, which is not far. But I brought her on the show, but prior to her, years prior to this, she's more mature now, of course, but she was one of my students, and she was on my very first Yellowstone trip. And her and another girl argued for 2 days. The first 2 days out of like seven. And it got really bad one day that the the lady who organized this whole trip had called and ordered plane tickets for them who had changed their flight tickets to send them back to Cleveland.
Okay.
She was like so freaking tired. No, she was about to do this. And she called me up. So the two ladies who organized, who were like the head leaders of this whole hiking thing, They brought me in a room. It was the three of us, three adults. We are talking about what should we do, or they had already made their mind up. They were sending these girls back.
Okay.
Both of these girls came from my campus. Not they're from Pittsburgh. I'm from Cleveland. These two girls who were fighting were from Cleveland.
Okay.
And I was really upset that this kept going on. But when they was ready to send them back, I said, hold up a minute. And I think I'm a very good person of analyzing, observing, and putting things in perspective. And I knew for a fact the background of these two young girls. You think about this for a minute. You have some kids, especially in this demographic that Deion Sanders was working with. There's a lot of foundational things that aren't the same as some other environments.
Uh huh.
So I knew these girls, the home foundation was
Okay.
very broken. And one of the things that we did that they weren't used to is eating as a family. So when we went on hiking trips, we were a family. If you notice, Dion used that term, the the the,
Yeah.
the, the identity
The
of
family.
family.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about your comrades. These are your war partners in battle and all that. He didn't even use that concept like you hear in sports all the time. He
Right.
used family because
Yes.
family is personal.
Yep.
And so for me, these students were personal to me. These were like my babies, that I took
Yeah. Okay.
across the country. And so what we did was I gave the concept just like he did. The like let's get these two girls in front of their peers. Let the peers tell these two girls how they feel, just like Dion did with those players. He let that person know who was the disruptor in the room know how his teammates felt about him. And when you realize, just like it was me or you, when we realize majority of our peers do not agree with what we're doing and that we are affecting the way their everyday life is, it's kind of a hitting the smack in the face. And that's exactly what I did to where these two girls were so remorseful because their peers let them know how they felt. And their peers decided we should not send them back because they need this experience of being here in Yellowstone. They need this experience more. It's more valuable to them than just sending them home
Okay.
because the experiences were life changing. And I saw life changing changes
Mm-hmm.
happening to these two girls
Yeah.
after coming from
Well,
Yellowstone.
there was one instance where I was a counselor at a summer camp. It was a week long church camp, and there was an instance at the beginning half of the week where we had to send a kid home. This is like middle school age.
Hmm.
So it was just so disruptive that we had to have the parent come and pick him up. And that was pretty traumatic because that had not happened at this particular camp before. But
Yeah.
I didn't feel I had any choice. And there
Yeah.
was a lot of disagreement amongst the other counselors of the camp. So it's
Hmm.
hard. And whenever you do something like that, there's going to be controversy and there's going to be people that disagree with it. There's going to be people
Yeah.
from the outside looking in that are going to say, hey, is this right? I mean, really, I'm not sure what John John's stake in this is at all. I mean, he's not inside the program. It's all up to people that are inside the program and how things are running and how
Yeah.
things are running. If it's a company, if it's an organization, if it's a church group, whatever it is, that
Yeah.
you have to establish your own rules and expectations in that group and how things are run. And
Yeah.
everyone either agrees to that or they don't.
Well, that's the thing about it. Like I said, with my situation, I didn't. We had rules and guidelines. We went through all that on the first day there. But in that
Yeah.
particular situation, I wanted their peers to, and that's like one of several situations where I let the peers join in on the conversation
Yeah.
because discipline isn't all because you do something to one person or to try to discipline somebody to set an example is not always the best measure as it is of having a conversation. Some people
hmm
act out, and you got to go back to what is the root cause of the acting out. Whatever they did, what is the root cause? Where did that come from? When we send
Yeah.
people home, when we send people home, we are now missing the relationship part of the resolution.
Yeah.
Because now, after like with our situation, those girls got to talk to each other there. The other kids, the other students got a chance to, throughout the week, talk about these things to keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
When you send somebody away,
And
who's now
that's a
you're,
learning process, and that creates maturity.
but where's the, yeah, when you send them
These are
away,
life lessons.
there's no accountability when you send them away because there's no
Yes,
one
that's true.
there. They're going to go back to their environment
Hmm.
doing what
Well,
they
that's
want to
true.
do, doing what they want to do. So discipline starts with a habit, a recycled habit of creating discipline. So, like I said, one of the things was eating together as a family. By day 7, you know, they've embraced that moment. Sharing a room. Some people have never shared a room their entire life with somebody. Never. I had to think about myself as an adult. I shared a room with someone who I became great friends with, but with an adult. I have think about it. I was a grown man with my own household and kids I've raised. You know what I'm saying? So me having to share a room with a stranger,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That we became friends later. Ryan Little, he's awesome. He's a great friend from Cincinnati. But the whole point is that you relationships build when you're in the presence of one another versus being isolated. And that's what happens when we send a person away. I mean, it has to be very vile for me to send a person away. It has to
Yeah.
be something very vile to where I think everyone else is at
I think
risk.
that's fair, and I think that should be.
Yeah.
And if it's
So
something so severe, then that's the deciding factor.
yeah.
But let's get into some of the
Yeah,
things
man.
that are some of our topics here for the new year. So
Definitely.
much has happened in this week, in the first week of the year here. First of all, we had the 2-year anniversary of the Capitol riot. So my question to everyone out there and for you this morning, Lamar, is this going to be like one of those moments where we ask each other, "Where were you when this happened?
Yep.
Where were you when you know they landed on the moon? Where were you when JFK was shot? Where were you
Right.
during 9/11? Right?
Yeah.
9/11 is one of those places. Where were you during? What were you doing this day? It's a day that you won't forget. Is the Capitol riot one of those moments?
It definitely is. I was sitting right here at this desk, man, working from home during COVID, you
Okay.
know, or you know, still comes some of the COVID experience going into 2021. And yeah, man, I was sitting right here when I was watching, I had the news on and as I was doing my job and I happened to see this and I text my coworkers like, yo, y'all see what's going on at the Capitol?
So is
And
this?
it
I think this was a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Then it was 2 years ago. So
was
would have
middle of the week.
been.
Middle of the week, yeah.
Was it a Tuesday?
It was the middle of the week, I remember. I think it was a Tuesday. I
I
gotta look at my
think
calendar.
I remember watching it later with my family at night on
Yeah,
the news and just kind
yeah,
of shaking my head. And
yeah. I was watching it
uh,
live, man.
the and I was just dismayed. I was just
Yeah.
dismayed. And but I think it was a Wednesday or a Tuesday. I'm trying to look it up here. So
What
um,
was your biggest concern at the moment you're watching it, or that you heard about it, or you were watching? What was your concern?
my biggest concern is that it would spin out of control and that we would see these kinds of things at state capitals,
Mm,
and that it would be something that would repeat itself and spread to other places, to other states, not just
yeah,
the federal government, that we would see this uh, at Capitol buildings around the country. And
yeah,
that was my fear, is that we would
yeah.
see it escalate um, into different places.
So you saw it, like I said, you saw it after the fact, after it was resolved when you saw it, right?
It
Um,
was it was in it was still going on. It must have been late afternoon when
okay,
I tuned in and I was watching it live. I believe that's when we still had cable, so we were watching it live in real time and on the news. And I remember,
yeah,
um, just kind of shaking my head. My kids were home. My wife was home. I think we were having dinner. We were just watching it, and
yeah,
I just couldn't believe it that this was in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And I just remember reflecting that it was just such a sad day, and just reflected poorly on our country.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of things I remember thinking. These are the kinds of things you see in not to denigrate those countries, not to put them down, but this is the kind of thing you see in third world countries where there's a violent overthrow,
Yeah.
and or there's a faction of people who uh, have some sort of resistance against the government,
Yeah.
and on the right side, on the side of righteousness, or the side of um, some sort of military coup, right? So I remember thinking that.
Yeah. I was like I said, I was watching it as it was taking place from the start, and immediately my concern was calling all my family members to see where
So
they were at.
Wednesday, apparently. So.
Okay, I was calling the family to see where everybody was at
Hmm.
because this looked bad. It looked bad, and I'm like, if they take control of that capital, if they invade the capital and like seize the capital, what's going to happen? And it's, the stuff that we've been talking about already, through all the hearings, of that power in that capital, like it was going to empower other people that's in your own community would now be empowered to do some things that probably wouldn't be the best interests of everybody.
Right.
And so I was more so almost like the 9/11 effect where you're worrying like, where's your family members, your loved ones, and are they in a
Hmm.
safe place?
Hmm.
I knew that my wife at the time was at work and she would have to come home. And, I'm thinking like, you know, what could really go wrong is that she's in downtown Dallas. Texas is like, we had a lot of people from Texas that was at that rally, you know.
Yep. Yep.
So I didn't know that at the time how many people, but I knew that they were probably there.
Uh-huh.
And that I felt that the most dangerous people were probably at the Capitol, not here in Dallas. So um, I let her know what was going on, sent her links. I checked in my parents because I was really concerned the next day that they would escalate at the state capitals, like you mentioned. And then actually they tried to the following weekend, but it was so well prepared with police that they
Okay.
didn't do anything. A lot of state capitals were on lockdown, not lockdown, but on alert for
An
this
alert
stuff.
for
So
stuff. Yeah.
nothing happens when you're on alert. That's why January 6th was so bad because no one was on alert. Even when they were warned, they weren't at the alert status they should be at,
Yep.
which we found out later was purposely done. You know.
So it was interesting that they had a um yesterday that they had a vigil. I guess you could call it a
Yeah.
vigil at the Capitol steps for the officers that had been slain, and there was two children of one of the slain officers reading off their father's name. That was very touching. A bell was rung, a moment of silence, very eerily similar to 9/11
Yeah.
recognition events that have happened. It's just uh, we need to guard against this happening again, and we need to be vigilant. I think they were right in investigating it and having a congressional thing and putting it on primetime TV. I think that those that are not going to be convinced are just not going to be ever convinced
Yeah.
uh, of the wrong, Trump being at fault in this.
Yeah.
And but I think it did a lot of good as to bringing forward the situation, bringing forward the seriousness of this,
Yeah.
um, making sure that people communicated the fact that there was officers that were killed that died as a
Mhm.
result of this,
Yeah.
and that's no light thing. This is the federal government. This is our democratic processes working, and they tried to stop that from happening. And that is, by definition, an attempted coup on our government, whoever these people were. And I'm glad that they started going after them. I was upset afterwards that people were just returning home. So we'll get on
Yeah.
an airplane, fly home, as if nothing happened, and this was just a regular protest.
Hmm.
and I'm glad that they were started actually arresting people and going after them, and
Hmm.
that they're treated like so many in the past have been treated, um, be it Black Lives Matter, be it any civil rights, any civil rights display, any civil rights protest. People have been brutalized
Yeah.
in the past, and they, in this case, I think there was such a stark contrast in the way these people were treated. I mean,
Yeah.
if and it is so true that if these people had been mostly of another skin color, that the police would not have hesitated to bring out the shotguns and open fire.
Yeah.
Instead, you had Capitol Police, in some cases, letting them through, running away from them, doing everything in their power to de-escalate this. I could go on, but
Right.
I think that it was right to make this an issue and to keep it in people's minds. To
Right.
keep it in people's minds. My fear is that if once eventually someday we'll have a Republican again in the White House. I don't know if that's going to be in 2024, if it's going to be sometime in the future, and that these things will this event will just go away, and this event is just going to fade away, and we're not going to be reminded of the seriousness of this.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's other events where people die, where police officers die, but this is the result of this, should they have been successful, would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Do you think this should be one of those situations like, well, I'm gonna give you two statements here. Okay. One's a question. Do you think this should be remembered like we remember 9/11?
whew, yeah, I do. I do. This
Okay.
was I mean, everything is different. Every horrific event is different. Um, and I just think it deserves its place because of the implications should it have succeeded.
Yeah. So that's why I asked the question because we should I'm not saying we need to have a vigil every year. That I don't agree with. Um, but I think that we should have this in our conversation. It should be brought up because you want to distract or you want to deter others from doing the same thing. You want them to know that this will not succeed. Now, the 9/11, for instance, me personally, this is just my personal feeling, is that I think because it was a tragedy, I think we overdo the 9/11 celebration stuff too much, in my
Okay.
opinion. Because
Okay.
it to me, we do a very good job of pointing the fingers at other people. Our
Okay.
country do a very good job of pointing and saying, Look at these bad people."
Okay.
And we looked at Muslim people to where even to this day, somebody from the Middle East is looked at in a certain way since 9/11. Um,
Yes.
and they were foreigners. And that's a global, when you're looking at international terrorism, that's a global effort to curb and to stop global terrorism. What happened on January 6th was right here in our own country with our own people.
Yes.
And we are so quickly to dismiss it as, wow, they did a bad thing, let's move on. But we need to be able to make it an effort to let people know this can't happen again. It was wrong, and let people know why it was wrong. We're arguing right now back and forth with political parties, but we're looking at 20 years from now. How are we going to view that day? Are we going to
Yeah.
view
Mhm.
it as
Yeah.
a bad day in America, or are we going to view it like we currently do as parties back? I mean, look at this freaking McCarthy. We're going to get into the House situation. That's all still dealing with MAGA people. That's why he didn't get in.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's still affecting our politics today. It's still
Oh,
affecting our
sure it does.
lives
Sure it
today.
does. Yeah.
So, so 20 years from now, we want that day to be looked upon as, wow, you better not ever get caught doing that. That's not good.
Uh-huh.
And we can't keep slapping on the wrist something light for Americans who continue to try to destroy America. And we need to change that right away.
So speaking of the House, My question to everyone is: can we do without a house? And what would it be like? Obviously, the sun rose this morning. We don't have a functioning House of Representatives. What is the big deal if this does go on? And we are now into the 15th vote, I think,
That's
that's happening
ridiculous.
today. Although um, ap- apparently, I'm trying to follow this. Now, there was a vote last night at 10 p.m. Apparently, that McCarthy
One vote,
got
wasn't it?
enough votes. Was it one vote short, or
I think it was one
so?
vote.
He's one vote short
Who was it?
still.
Was it Gates? I think it was Gates.
Yeah,
He didn't stand.
Gates
He
is a
said present.
holdout.
He said present. He didn't vote. He just
Oh,
said
okay.
he was present. And McCarthy got mad at him, got pissed at him. Um,
Well, I don't blame him.
but getting to that though,
I'd be frustrated too.
has this ever happened before?
Not really. Nothing like this has happened since before the Civil War, where they couldn't elect a Speaker of the House. Which that's not surprising. The Civil War was a very divisive time, and if you think about it, people kept people have talked about will we be in another Civil War, right? We've heard that
Yeah.
argument. So I was reminded of that. I was reminded of that argument, that discussion topic of will we be in another civil war, when they started talking about the House of Representatives, and they were like, this hasn't happened since the Civil War. I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of an
Oh, he
ominous
did
sign,
win. He
right?
did win.
It's kind of an ominous sign. So he is officially elected as the
So is that
Speaker of
on
the
the
House.
15th? It said, this is coming from USA Today. In a
Okay.
dramatic 15th ballot, Republican Kevin
15
McCarthy
ballots.
clinches House Speaker vote. Members sworn in.
Okay, well,
Um,
see, I was kind of thinking that it would keep going, keep perpetuating over the weekend, and we could like take bets here on the show about how many ballots it was going to take. So
to
I
me,
was, I told my family, I said it would be 20. So here we are at 15. 15 was the magic number. There you go.
this what gets me. Was that a good or bad thing? To me, that looks very bad that you had to go through 15 votes. That means the people who voted for you thought you were crap enough that they didn't want to vote. It took 15 tries. Think about that for a minute. It wasn't like an overwhelmingly vote thing. That means you had to go and kiss behind each other to people that you don't really like now. That's not a good thing. I mean, think about it. These people held out for several days because they didn't really want him to be in a position over political ideologies of
Yep.
what So it's not like they're negotiating with the Democrats; they're negotiating with each other to get him voted.
Yep.
That's to me. I'm like, do you really want the seat that bad? They can
Yeah,
backstab him
he
at any
did.
time. They
Of
can
course.
backstab
Yeah,
him
and
at
they
any
will.
time.
And part of the concessions was that they can like vote to like unseat him or something, or vote to like set him aside temporarily. Not that I understand that too much, but they can decide like if they don't like him, to not recognize his speakership or something like that.
Um,
Maybe somebody can help me out with that, or try to find what that stipulation is.
now,
But there's some sort of compromise that was really unprecedented.
yeah, just
Um,
check. This is one of the paragraphs where it says his election came 2 years after the January 6th attack at the
mhm.
Capitol, a day when McCarthy, his top deputies, and 19 of the 20 holdouts he negotiated with to win an all voted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. On that day, 2 years ago, McCarthy reportedly called on former President Donald Trump, imploring him to call off his supporters who were ransacking the Capitol. Today and all week, McCarthy was begging, listen to this, begging for votes from some of Trump's biggest supporters. That included Matt Gaetz, who nominated and voted for Trump as House Speaker. So think about this. These are the people that you told to stop what was going on January 6th. We were just talking about January 6th. And these people were against you. So it started off, what was it, like 20, 20 holdouts at first. So it's like
Yes.
I would be very cautious of what they would be doing behind my back. Because right now, MAGA supporters know they can't trust McCarthy. And McCarthy was a jerk from the beginning because he was passive with so much stuff early on. So
Well, I have a lot. There's a lot that I could say about this, and I will. I have a lot of feelings about it. For one, I think this shows that Republicans have no interest in governing, and this is what I've said for the last 5 or 6 years since Trump has
yeah,
come into the the political arena. Things have
yeah,
changed. Things have
yeah,
changed in the Republican Party. They're not interested in governing.
yeah,
And the question that I have is, can we do without the House? Is the only thing that they're going to do now is make a mess of things.
yeah,
The House majority GOP, um, it's not a great majority, but it is still a majority. They're going to make a mess of things. You're going to see things like government shutdowns. You're going to see things about not raising the debt ceiling
yeah,
so that we can't pay our bills, and federal employees will go without paychecks. This is what's happened before when the not to be partisan, but this is true. I think this is going to be a true prediction for this coming year for this Congress. They're gonna be obstructionist. They're not interested in governing. They're not interested in compromise. And
yeah,
this goes for both sides, by the way. The Democrats weren't eager to compromise either. Why should they? They
yeah,
want to make they want to make the Republicans look bad, and they did. They succeeded in making them looking bad, and but I just don't see that people, especially the Republicans, are interested in governing this country and doing what it takes to do the things that they were elected for. It's
right,
all of it. There's no compromise at all. There's little compromise in Congress, so that
yeah,
nothing gets done. And so the only thing that's going to happen now that we actually have a Speaker of the House and people can be sworn in, they can start making committees and they can set
yeah.
up their rules for the next Congress, the congressional term, is that they're going to make a mess of things.
There. I just saw a statement, the same thing you had just said about not wanting to govern. And this is an article. This is an article from the Root. It was saying Republicans were hard at work this week doing their favorite activity, making it impossible to do any governing. you know, exactly
Yeah,
what you were saying. For the
yeah,
first time, for the first time in 100 years, a nominee from the party in power failed to win the initial floor vote. After the 15th try, Kevin McCarthy finally won his bid to become Speaker of the House. That's crazy, man. That's ridiculous. But what else you got, man? I know you were talking about Santos
well, there
earlier.
is a speaking of the House, so George Santos, who is a newly elected representative from the New York State, most famously, it come out after the election that he had lied about virtually
Everything.
all of his background. Um, you know, and I think this is funny. So I'm going to show this little video. Uh, so he's reporting. What was it? Wednesday, Tuesday? I don't know. But he's coming into the House floor for the first time, and they're starting to do the voting on the speaker. So these are the reporters following him around. I just thought this was hilarious.
Have you spoken to prosecutors, federal or state?
Do you think you'll be able to serve out your full term of 2 years? Are you cooperating with investigators?
Are you legally eligible to serve in Congress?
Does that anything to say to the voters of Long Island?
So you are supporting Mr. McCarthy, sir? You are supporting Representative McCarthy?
And there's a little bit more to that, but there was one question. I don't think it was a part of this video, but somebody asked him, "Is George Santos your legal name?" I mean, and this deserves to be
Yeah,
restated. I don't care how many times you've heard it, but the dude lied about being Jewish.
yeah,
He lied about having family members in the Holocaust. He lied about when his mother died.
yeah. Twice.
I mean, dude. He lied about finding a charity organization. He lied about having employed victims
Yeah,
at the Pulse nightclub massacre.
and the
I
money
mean,
he made.
this isn't just like little lies about like
Yeah.
last night I had chicken. You
Well,
know, this is you know life stuff. It's like
Look at the money
I
he
just I
made, and
mean
his company
my
got shut
my
down.
question is are we just going to forget about this in a year or two when he's up for re-election in 2 years? We need to dig all this back up and say, look, do you really want to vote for this guy? Do you have any integrity at all? I know you care about the issue. You say you care about the issues, and one of the issues that you care about is family values and being uh, a good person, right? Don't we want to vote for people who are good people, right? Generally
Yeah.
speaking, you want someone who's going to be um, forthright.
It's
mm,
crazy,
So,
man.
are we just going to forget about it?
Have you heard the
I hope
background of it? Have you heard the
not.
background? Hey, how you doing, Bree?
Hi.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the background of his parents, of his
Mm,
grandparents? Have you heard that story?
Give it to us again. I mean, I've heard a little bit, so go ahead.
Okay, this is in his biography. Now, his
I
Go
can't
ahead.
hear
I
you.
think you locked up there. Go ahead. We lost your
Yeah, you
audio
got it.
there,
Yeah.
Lamar. We lost your audio there, but his grandparents. I'm trying to find the information here. Of course, he might have lied about his sexuality. Said that he was always openly gay. When it came out that he was married to a woman, so you wouldn't be openly gay if you're married
hey,
to a
can you guys
woman.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
miss everything.
Go ahead.
It's-
Don't know what just happened there.
We can
Okay, I
hear
can
you.
hear
Yeah,
you
Go
guys
ahead.
now.
it's
Good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like that. My audio settings just went out. I'm not even doing anything. So the background of his parents were his grandparents. So this is in his biography he sent out to his constituents. He wrote his maternal grandparents were Jews who fled persecution in Ukraine, settled in Belgium, fled once again during World War II, and finally settled in Brazil. He said the family changed their original name, which was Zabrowski, in the February interview to Fox News. And this is what he sold to his constituents to get elected. That's like a deep lie. Like what gets me is that right now there are no laws. Trump already proved this. There is no regulation, no policy, no laws, nothing to hold a politician accountable for these type of lies. We're not talking about lies
Yeah.
where you say you're going to give a campaign promise and you don't fall through with it. We're talking about lies
Yes, we're talking about
about
lies about your past and about your
your
background.
all that. That's like there should be a violation
The
for that.
the thing is, like, these are verifiable things. It's pretty simple. Like lying about his education. Okay, all you have to do is call up the college and say, "Did this person graduate?" And
Yeah.
guess what? He didn't. So these are like easily verifiable things.
The worst part
And
too.
yet he thought he could get away with it.
He
Yeah.
said his mom was the first female executive at a major financial institution and worked in the World Trade Center.
That's crazy.
So I mean, these are deep things that his mother died in 9/11.
Well, you want to know what his
Okay,
mom really was?
so
That's
This-
what he said.
do you
I mean,
know
I'm
what
that's
looking
what
at
he
his
said.
statements.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his statements here when he's trying to.
So this is what his mom really did. In fact, she worked variously as a domestic worker, a cook, and a nurse. She spoke Portuguese but no English, according to the reporting by the New York Times. In 2008, while living in Brazil, age 19, Santo stole the checkbook of a man his mother was caring for and used it to buy shoes. He did this. He later confessed and was charged, according to a Brazilian court records reviewed by the newspaper. Santos left the country before the case could be resolved. He's a freaking criminal,
He is a
So
criminal
the
in a
thing
foreign
is,
country.
so
and we let him in the off. We let him in the
whoa,
position.
He was voted into
Let's back up a
office.
little bit, guys. Let's back up a little bit. I think that in that case we can humanize those choices.
What do you mean?
we can humanize that choice for him to like. Yes, it's a criminal thing to do, but he did need shoes.
How
So
do you
I
know?
don't.
How do you know he needed shoes?
She said his mom was poor. She was working as a domestic worker, and I think that when now I'm not defending anything. I'm just looking at the other side.
He
He
How
fled
did he get money
before
to leave?
into the United States, right?
How did he fled? How did he have money to flee?
I don't know that, but I know that Brazil's.
Apparently, he wasn't that poor.
Well, he stole the wallet of a man to buy shoes. I mean, buy
So
shoes to the
the other thing,
necessity for living, a necessity for life.
Or was it? But
Shoes are
was it a
pretty
necessity?
necessary.
Was it a necessity for him? Did he not have other shoes? We don't know.
I wouldn't say that it wasn't. I'm just going off of the circumstances that you just put in front of us there. That was a lot.
so
That all points to them being poor. But that's my point. My
I
point is
never said she was poor. I never
that
said she was poor. By the way, in
I
my
thought you
statement,
did. What did you
no, I
say?
said she spoke Portuguese but no English.
Oh, theirs is a poor country, so I associate. Okay. I mean,
And everybody in Brazil isn't poor either.
um, okay, well, I think that
this
aside from that though, like I mean, this is crazy. I feel like that him telling his mom's story, him telling the truth actually would have been appealing. It would have actually been actually a typical politician American story
he
of
could have
pulling
done
yourself
it.
up by your bootstraps. Like
He
that
could have made it a positive. He could have made it a positive.
yeah, that's the
I was so
Republican
poor I had to
way.
steal
Pull yourself
shoes at
up by
one
your
time.
bootstraps.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
like, he coulda actually turned that. He coulda
I worked
actually used
hard. I
that
used to be
story.
poor. I used to live on the streets. I used to
Well,
not be
Yeah,
able to afford
well, can
shoes.
you guys justify this life for me?
I
While
can't
being
justify it at
No,
all,
no,
so that's
no,
why
no,
I
no.
wouldn't
This is
justify it.
you just gave me some good pointers on him stealing. You guys are talking about him stealing shoes and trying to make it a good story. Make this one a good story. This is a good one. While
Okay.
being interviewed by WNYC in November, Santos claimed that his company had lost 4 employees in the post LGBTQ nightclub massacre in Orlando in 2016. The Times reviewed the obituaries and news reports about the shooting and found that none of the 49 victims appeared to have worked for Santos.
Yep.
Make it good for me. Come on, make it good. Make it good.
There's
Make it good.
nothing good about
No, there's nothing good about that
choices
story.
that
The
he
only
made.
There's nothing good about that story.
He's always been openly gay. He says
But
he
he dated and
identifies
married a
as a
woman.
he's identified as a proud gay man. Was at the heart of his campaign. He was the first openly gay, non-incumbent GOP candidate elected to Congress, and claimed that he never experienced discrimination in the Republican Party. He ran a firm worth $1 million. He managed $80 million in assets. I mean, it's like he goes on and on and on. Why is this guy in office? Why has nobody just like, wait, dude, wait, we
So
can't have you.
his explanation for some of the things I'm reading is crazy. He says, I never said I was Jewish. I said my relatives were Jewish. So
No,
my maternal family had a Jewish background. I said I was Jewish.
no, he did say it. He
No,
went
no,
to
I'm
the
saying I'm saying what he tried to clear it up with.
no, okay, yeah, because he said
Terrible.
he claimed to be a observant Jew. I just read that he's met with dang it. He met with the where is it at? Okay, it was talking about he wrote a paper. He also wrote a position paper shared with pro-Israel groups, including the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, in which he identified as a proud American Jew. Several outlets, including the Forward and CNN, looked into Santos' mother's heritage and found no evidence of Jewish ancestry. And Santos' maternal grandparents were born in Israel and have no Ukrainian or Jewish roots, according to the genealogy websites. Now he said, like you said, I never claimed to be Jewish. I'm Catholic because I learned my.
We're cut out again. Yeah, we lost your audio. I'll come on really quickly here. But we lost your audio.
Hear me okay?
No, we lost your audio. You might have to take the headset off.
I can't hear anything. I'm not sure what's going on here.
We lost your audio.
I can't hear anything.
Sorry, y'all. That's why I'm off camera today because my
This is
glasses
frustrating.
still haven't
Not sure
come
what's going on here.
through the mail.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but we did lose your audio.
Can you hear me, Bria?
I can hear you.
I'm not sure what's going on. I'm trying to do this show, and it's like
My glasses.
stuff keeps happening for audio.
You might have to take
Go ahead
the
and talk because
lose
I
the
can't hear
headset.
you at all.
So what I think is, what's crazy is, like in everyday life,
Can you hear me,
we
Bree?
see people embellish their resumes all of the
Anything?
time. I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me, guys. We can hear you though. Well, I'm telling him we can hear him, but he
Can you hear
can't hear
Bree?
me. Let me write a message here. This is crazy that I'm on here with my glasses. So what's crazy is we see
Can you hear me, Bree?
embellishments on resumes all the time, but in politics, it always
Can't
seems
hear
like
anything. I was thinking my
Republicans
audio, everything just went
get
out.
a pass. And I think that's really crazy because if we remember the Obama
How's
administration,
that?
we can still hear you.
Gosh. I am stranded here. It's like I'm just lost because this is not working. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, man. Anything, Bree? Can you hear me?
I
Can you hear me,
you.
Bree?
I can hear you.
You heard me the whole time.
Yeah.
I did not hear anything. It was like it
Can you
was
hear me
just.
now?
I can hear you great now. It's like it all
Yeah,
just
you might
all
have
my.
to lose the headset.
That's something the headset. Darren just said he took off his background and he was able to hear. I'm like, this is crazy. What's going on with this
I'm
thing
gonna
here? Yeah.
take
Can you?
background.
Oh, I'm good. So you're good now, huh? You can hear me.
Yeah. I heard you the whole time. No, you went out for like 2 seconds and then you came back and you were in.
I had to, all my
But
stuff showed. My everything was gone.
okay. Well,
So go ahead. I'm
hey,
sorry.
welcome back. No, I was
Yep.
saying that it's crazy because we looked at when we look at Republicans, it's kind of like this is something that we see over and over again. You lied about going to college. Just went through this with Herschel Walker in his run
Yeah.
for in his what did he just run? What was he running for?
Senate.
Was it Senate? Okay, yeah. Okay, so we saw that we the Republicans supported him anyway. We're seeing
Yeah.
this, and for me, it's kind of like they're trying to, like, of course, diversify, in my opinion, and they're like, at any cost, we're gonna try to get, more people on our team. We're trying to split voters, and we're trying to gain our. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say, but it's for me, it's clear as day. They're like, yeah, it's okay to lie about these things, and we're gonna support. But do you remember with the Obama administration? Obama went through so much, and
Yeah.
his credentials were true. His credentials were real. There was proof of everything that he had on his resume. He worked
Yeah.
really hard to get from where he was to the highest seat in the land, and every decision that he made was scrutinized. He was criticized at every point. Everything that he did to get where he all of his accomplishments were questioned based on his like even his birth certificate, like even just his birth certificate, his citizenship was questioned. Yet you have this man not running for president, but still the same, like you're in office, you're a public servant, and you lied about everything. You lied about some of the worst things that a person could lie about. Like it's evil, it's psychotic. Who
Bad
lies
intent.
about their mother dying in 9/11? Who lies about it's like he picked every tragedy that's happened pretty much. Like let's pick the most horrible tragedies and put somebody I know in there, someone close to me in there, so that I
Yeah.
can get sympathy. And it all comes out, and nothing happens to this man. Nothing happens to his career.
Yeah.
You
He
wanna
should
run
never
for
be a
office, like, that's hmm?
politician in any capacity at all. He should
All
never be
politicians lie,
never.
in my opinion. All politicians lie, and then let's go a step further is
Who
most
lies
people
about
do
their
embellish
history?
most people embellish.
You froze up there for you just froze up. Not sure what's going on here, but you froze up there. Yeah, so just Santos lied about so much. He lied about the things that you shouldn't even lie about. But I'm not
It's
sure if
like
you heard me, Bria, but you froze up there for a minute.
yeah, I see that. No,
Yeah.
exactly, most people do lie on not most people, I would say there are a lot of people that embellish their resumes, okay?
Yeah.
Whether it's changing a job title, adding things adding your responsibilities under your job description that you really didn't do. But these things were like these are unforgivable lies. You're not just
Mhm.
getting fired. We are calling everybody in town and telling people not to hire you. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So for him to just be able to just walk around and just think that everything's gonna be fine and his statements were terrible. Like I was a kid, I did stupid things. I was young. That's not
We
young
can't
doing
lie on our
stupid things.
resumes.
Like,
We can't lie on the job resume and get caught. You know how many
I mean,
people have lied on a job
honestly,
resume and they passed? There's people who've lied on a resume and they're like, "You didn't go to this college, or you didn't do this. You weren't part of this organization." And they find out, and they don't give you the job because they
yeah,
lied. Then there's those who
yeah.
they sweep it up under the rug and because they want you that bad. So tell me, Bree, what's your
What does
bottom
he
line
do
for
to
the?
want like, why did they want him so bad? My glasses, you guys, like, bear
Remember,
with me. I literally
his
they're in the mail.
his constituents voted for him.
Right, because of what he sold them.
Right. So it wasn't the politicians in office who did it. They didn't. The constituents don't do the
Well,
research.
okay, so that's what I'm saying is like, why now that he's been elected, what is I honestly just found out about this man today. I'm not really keeping up. What is he doing? What is his position? What is his
It's a
office
Congress.
that he
He's a
looks
Congress. He's a congressman from New York.
so, I'm sorry that I didn't know we were gonna be covering this, topic today, so I honestly
Yeah.
that's why I don't know who he is. I would have
Oh, that's
looked
cool. Yeah.
at him
So
more, but is there such a lack of, it doesn't seem like on the outside they might be doing things behind closed doors. Why is it that they are not publicly making a statement about this?
they are.
And
It's all over the news.
well, are they denouncing his decisions to do this? Are they because when I
He's
looked,
elected.
they were silent for a week or something, right?
Well, he's elected. A lot of the background work went in afterwards. When you say your mom died in 9/11, people are like, let me check this dude out. I've never heard this story, So
Are
people
they
are checking
not
it out.
are they not going to is he not gonna receive any disciplinary action? Is this what's going on?
It's still going on now. There's still investigations going on right now. Yep.
Hmm.
So it's
And it's been
just
over a week?
yeah. So it's just you know, it is what it is right now, and they're trying to figure it out. But yeah, because we got a short show today. So what's your bottom line for today?
My bottom line for today is, I'm gonna be real, you guys. So I'm a mom. I'm also a student. I also work. And I'm realizing for the first time in my life, and I'm thinking it's because I'm getting older, that I don't have as much gas in the tank as I thought I did. I feel like just a message to mothers, a little bottom line to moms. I try to take my glasses off, but I legitimately cannot see. Okay, so let's put these broken glasses back on my face. Um, I can honestly say that as a mom, to any mom out there that needs to hear this, do not be so hard on yourself. Show yourself a little grace. I was watching this video recently, and the video, it was like a poem, and she was saying, I didn't get anything done today. I got the dishes, I got all the dishes clean, put them in the dishwasher, but I didn't get anything done today. I washed all the kids' clothes and cleaned their room, but I didn't get anything done today. She talks about all the things that she's doing for her home and for her family. And but she's also saying that she didn't get anything done today because that's how she feels at the end of the day when there's still so much left to do. And I think that it's just important for moms to know, like, it's okay to show yourself some grace. And when you are spread thin, it's okay to take a minute and just take a rest because if we don't have, we pour so much into our families, we pour so much into our loved ones that we don't really have anything left to give to ourselves. It's important to take that time to give to yourself. It's important to take that time to sleep a little longer. It's important to take that time to go take a drive, get some fresh air, refuel yourself so that you have what you need to pour into your family. I'm learning that now as I'm getting older and things are just hitting me in a different way. Almost like at the start of 2023, like just this on New Year's is when I was just like, wow, this is heavy stuff. Like this is really, I need to take time to pour into myself. So, bottom line, moms, really pay attention to how you feel. Do not do not say to yourself like, "Oh, I can go a little bit further. Like, I can go a little bit further." Take that time, take a rest, pour into yourself. Do not run yourself down in 2023. Please. Okay, that's it.
Mhm. Oh, that's good. That was good. That was excellent. That's a clip for the, that's what we should edit that out and put that out there for other mothers to hear. My bottom line for the day is to you know, always be on guard, always be vigilant, like in what you see around you. Be observant, but don't take things so what's the word? Be mindful of the things that are important. Yes, but leave the pettiness alone. I mentioned that earlier. Like pettiness is what I'm leaving in 2022. Um, some of the debates I have and the conversations I have are not as valuable as the relationships that I have. So I'm leaving a lot of things behind. That's my goal and the mindset, and also what you were saying about pouring to yourself. For me, 2023 is about self care, mental health care, making sure that you are mentally stable, making sure that you can uh, just continue to build on relationships better and not allow your baggage or your personality and character to interfere with. You should be able to see your flaws in your personality and character so that they don't affect your relationships. That's where the self care comes in for mental health, that you can observe these things about yourself because these things are not always bad. They are good things. It's that you need to learn how to manage them. And that's what I'm learning about myself. So that's my bottom line for today. Glad to see you in the new year. And
Good to see you
looking forward
too.
to catching you. Looking forward to seeing you next week. And with that,
Yes.
we're out.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week.